Welcome back to Ethereans community, guys. Thank you for continuing to follow us. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please press on the red subscribe button and activate the alarm bell so that you get notified about all of our future content. In today's video, we're going to talk to Ivan, who is the co-founder of Leleka Foundation. As you may remember from the previous proposal that we put forward for our delegation funds, Ethereans community has committed to donate a percentage towards a charity, and Leleka Foundation was the one that we chose. So let's get into the interview. We're going to talk to Ivan, and he's going to tell us what they do, what Leleka Foundation is currently working on, and ultimately where the funds are going to be invested. Stay with us. Ivan, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Hi, Rudy. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, thank you very much for organizing this video. And I'll be happy to tell more about our organization, which is called Leleka Foundation.
Fantastic. We really look forward to it. And thank you very much for allocating the time. So let's go straight into it. Do you want to tell us a little more about who Leleka is and how you started basically getting involved with the Leleka Foundation?
Yes, sure. So Leleka Foundation is a nonprofit. We're a volunteer run, so we have only volunteers. We don't have any people who get paid or anything like that. We are officially registered in the United States. It's called 501c3 type of organization. It means that this is an official charity, and we are registered with the tax authority in the US, and we can receive donations from donors. So we raise charitable funds, and we implement medical and social support projects in Ukraine. We started back in 2014. It was December 2014 when several Ukrainians who live in the United States, we joined our efforts with Ukrainians in Ukraine and some certain organizations, volunteer initiatives in Ukraine who were working back then on providing supplies, medical supplies, to Ukrainian medics and defenders. You as well remember in 2014 that when the first time Russia occupied part of Ukraine, the Crimea and East Ukraine, and there were a lot of unfortunately a lot of fightings, medical like civilian casualties, military casualties. And the Ukrainian army at that time wasn't prepared. Ukrainian infrastructure wasn't prepared for this, basically war. So, in a lot of sense, the government relied on volunteer activities, on regular people activities like us. So, so that's what we've done. We've done it for several years since 2014. Then we switched to more like rehabilitation services. We would pay for wounded veterans to go to like Ukraine West, like in the mountains, to get rest and to get there, basically recover after the war. When COVID started 2 years ago, we actually refocused on COVID activities. So how we usually work, we find a partner in Ukraine who has a experience on the ground. So we verify them that they are reliable, they know what they're doing, and they have their own projects. And then we fundraise for specific projects. Like for example, like in COVID, like during COVID, we were doing oxygen. We are raising money to provide oxygen for sick, for people who require that. Well, of course, we all know that this February, about 2 months ago, so Russia started a massive invasion of Ukraine. So we immediately refocused our activities on supplying critical medical supplies again, to Ukrainian medics and defenders. So we have rebuilt our logistics. So what do we do? So basically, how it works. So we raise money here in the US, although we receive a lot of donations from all over the world, from people, from organizations, from companies. We then find suppliers of critical medical supplies here in the US or Europe, because we have people in Europe as well. We pay for them, and then we deliver this to Ukraine, where we give it to our partner organization in Ukraine, and they distribute these supplies among end users. So that's what we've done, since in February 2022, for the last 2 months. So we have co-founded. We have 3 co-founders in the US. We also have several people who work with us in Ukraine, right now in Poland, actually in other countries as well. Some people do logistics. Some people do distribution of the medical kits and first aid kits. Some people do social media interaction, marketing and stuff like that. So, but again, as I mentioned already, we're all volunteers. We don't get paid. We actually use our own equipment, our computers, our offices, our homes, cars, vehicles to basically operate. So that's why our organization probably spends about 96-97% of all proceeds of all donations towards purchasing and delivering the supplies. We have only about like 2-3% overhead for banking and commissions, because when we receive donations, frequently we need to pay commission to the bank to receive that.
That is actually great, because with a lot of charities, you find that people get annoyed about the fact that they may want to donate say £1,000 or €1,000, but then by the end of it, only 10% or approximately that they say ends up towards the actual cause. All these other costs which are written in small prints, which they never take account of. Right. So it's great what you guys do there. And do you have actually, how many people do you have on the ground in Ukraine at the moment, for example? Do you have like a dedicated team that stays out there that actually physically brings those supplies, or do you have like an external logistic company? Or
yes, so we have we have people. So when the supplies arrive to Ukraine, and I wouldn't talk specifically where they are, just for the safety, for security of them, but obviously it's in the western part of Ukraine. So we have a warehouse where all those supplies arrive. And then since we order different types of supplies, so some of them go to like emergency medics in the field, in the ground, some on the ground, some go to like defender units, some goes to hospitals, because we actually do some hospitals projects for hospitals. So we have about 3-4 people in the warehouse. Then we have, in Western Ukraine, then we have 2 people who are actually organizing. We have people in Kiev, for example, who have connections, who have worked with us since 2014. I mean, they're basically one of the they're principals of the organization. So they're helping with fundraising. They're working through the requests to supply help, because how we do it, one of the part how we supply supplies is we set up a questionnaire online where medics or defender units can submit their request for specific, like for example, we need so many 50 first aid kits, we need so many tourniquets, we need so many quick loading, so many backpacks. So what we need to do is we need to verify, because anybody can submit the request, but we need to verify that this is a real, that's a real unit, that's a real brigade of medics, and they actually need this, and they're, for example, they're in the hotspot right now and not somewhere in the back where probably the priority will be lower. So I would say probably we have about 10 people who work permanently in Ukraine. We also have people in Poland who help us, if we need to use like Polish, for example, Polish cargo, they'll help to bring, they will help to bring cargo from Poland to Ukraine.
Okay.
And they're actually going here and there through the border. So.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you started around the 2014 when the first sort of
Yes.
Russian invasion of Crimea took place. But how did you? What made you decide to get involved in this space? Do you have a background in charity work already, or was this the first time that you sort of put together something like this?
Yeah, that's probably the first time. Yeah. So when 2014 started, so the foundation was organized in December 2014, and if our listeners remember, the whole Crimea occupation started in February, so almost a year before. So I personally, with some friends in the U.S., we're working on raising funds. That was like personal effort, raising funds, purchasing, and sending to Ukraine. And many people in the U.S. and everywhere in the world, many Ukrainians would do that. But then, of course, when the volumes became, when we already have some experience and the volumes became larger, the next, so that was the next step, to get together with some of these volunteers and create a formal organization, a formal foundation, which would, create, which would do the same thing. But when you create a formal organization, you have better opportunities to create, to fundraise, because now you can get funds from institutional donors. Companies trust you better because you have a track record, and you can supply, you can provide formal financial and tax reports. So you have more trust than just maybe one or two persons who are collecting money. And of course, unfortunately, there are so many people who collect money and then they just go, they just disappear with them. So I haven't had, experience before, but like I said, during the year, we saw that that's possible. Like my first experience with fundraising, I decided to just, I and a couple of my friends locally, we decided to get $20,000, from local people. And, we were amazed that just in 1 week, we were able to collect that and then, spend it on medical supplies. So that worked. And, and then we created an organization.
Okay, that's awesome. It's a great story. And you mentioned earlier about these first aid kits, which I presume is the main initiative that you are currently carrying out for the purpose of the existing Ukraine war. Is that the case, or do you also have a wider range of products that you are offering?
Yeah. So the first aid kit. So for someone who doesn't know, if someone doesn't know what it is, so that's a pack. It's like a pouch, and I have one with me. That's my personal one, which was
awesome.
Which wasn't. So it's a black. So this is like a black pouch, and it has a bunch of stuff inside, like gauzes, some tourniquets. My kit actually is not fully, the ones which we sent, to Ukraine, because it's like really, nothing much here. But yeah, but that's my personal one, which I bring, with me if necessary. So it looks like this. Usually a medic or a soldier carries it with it, with them. So in case if something happens, let me try to. So it looks like this approximately, and it attaches to your, like to your backpack, or maybe to your, So it includes, so the key components is a tourniquet. A tourniquet is a thing which is a device, a medical device, which you use to stop blood. So if you have, for example, if you have a wound in your extremity, you want to kind of like, put pressure on it so the blood wouldn't would stop, and you wouldn't bleed to death. So that's one main thing. The other thing is a so-called quick clot or Celex. That's a blood clotting device. So basically, it's a gauze which you just it has special chemical in it which coagulates the blood. So the blood stops when
streaming.
Streaming from the wound. The other one, would be a bandage. So, for example, if you're wounded and you want to, carry your hand like this, so you would, have a bandage. So these are like the most critical parts. There are some other ones. So that's what, how we started, and that was our main product. And what we do, we either buy the full kit already, which are available, or we buy components, send them to Ukraine, and we put them together in our warehouse, put them together per requirements of a specific unit, of a specific, like medical brigade. So that's, the main thing. The other thing which we're doing a lot, right now, is medical backpacks. And medical backpack is like a backpack for a medic in the unit. So it has several of these components which I mentioned, and it's much more expensive. So for example, if a first aid kit costs approximately $120, $150 per kit, the backpack may cost from like $1,000 up to $3,000-$4,000, for the backpack. But that backpack allows medic to help several people. So for example, if it's a battlefield, or if it's a mass like casualty event, like a shelling of a house or an apartment complex. So one person with this backpack can help several people. So that's, we see that this is also becoming critical. So another thing which is important is that in order to use these devices, you need to be trained. And with a lot of people right now joining Ukrainian defenders, many people are not trained. So you need to be trained, and if you don't know how to use the things, that's also a problem. So that's why we actually have some, we're actually putting some effort into creating training materials and videos. And then the next project we're working, it's kind of like supplying hospitals. And it's not already related to like emergency medicine, but more like a curing. So if you wanna, if you have people who have wounds in the hospital, like for example, one of our recent projects is vacuum-assisted closure devices, VAC devices. So they help wounds heal quicker, and those are pretty expensive devices. I mean, they're around like $9,000, and then you have to have dressings which change all the time, but they're really helpful in hospitals. So that's already for hospitals. So, so that's basically how we are, looking at different projects. We're also looking now at, maybe supplying ambulances, and depending on what donors, because we're approached by several donors, by different donors, and donors have their own, ideas or projects or pet projects, right? So some people want to help, ambulances, some people want to get hospitals, some people want to help children, and so on. So we're trying to be, to accommodate. We try to focus on our thing, but if we're able to maybe, like redirect some of the funds to a worthy project, we will do it.
Okay, well, excellent. Thanks for your explanation there. And aside from the Ukraine crisis, are there any other groups or associations or initiatives that you are supporting with your work?
I mean, we are focused on Ukraine, so we are working with, so we try to do the full cycle. So we receive money and then we spend them and deliver. But sometimes, we see that like another organization has a worthy cause, and they have, and they know what they're doing in their specific cause. So sometimes, yeah, we can, help like another charity or another project with, money, but usually, usually we do it ourselves. But even if we help, like for example, when we find, or like, before the war, like in, like from 2000, like in 2016, 17, we would find a project in Ukraine, like a rehabilitation project or a social support project, or like art project. We had like healing with art, for example, project a few years ago. We would support them financially so they can do their work. But it's mostly focused on Ukraine, from understandable reasons, and that's in our statute. We're basically helping Ukrainian people to those who are suffering.
Yeah, totally. And just to give our audience a bit of an idea of the type of reach that you currently have and the type of volume that you're dealing with, are you able to share some numbers in terms of the amounts that you are raising for this initiative, or the sort of impact? Have you been able to measure kind of the impact that it's making?
Yes, absolutely. So and again, this is, we're sharing this information publicly on our website, on our Facebook page, and so on. But yeah, so since February 2022, we raised, we received about $2.2 million in donations from individuals, from companies, from other charities, basically from all around the world. So that's from everywhere, US, Australia, Europe, a lot of countries in Europe. And we already spent, just like today, I made a payment, to a vendor, $2,017,000. So basically, out of 2.2 million, we spent $2 million, and that's just in 2 months. And that's just amazing how much support we and Ukraine is getting. And we know other organizations in the US, also Ukrainian related organizations, they're raising also a lot of money, and they're also spending. So that's more, and this amount actually is larger than the whole donation, the amount of donations we received since 2014 up to February. So that just shows amount of support. And we delivered to, and out of $2 million which we spent on, we already delivered about 1.2 million to Ukraine. So it's already, because logistics is actually, it's a very complex thing. It took us a couple of weeks to, actually 2-3 weeks, to start, to find the ways to deliver to Ukraine, especially in the situation when it's like a chaos. It's like on the Polish-Ukrainian border, a lot of people are sending everything. People are going in both directions a lot. So, but now we know what we're doing. So now it's more or less a straight way. Now we actually have a different problem, is to find supplies, because supplies are got depleted. So everybody is trying to manufacture more, but of course we have all the situation with COVID, which we have logistics problem for companies to manufacture. There's commodities issues and so on. So it's all together. So now a more important problem is to purchase and to find supplies to buy.
Yeah, you've got some really outstanding numbers there, and it sounds like you're piling a lot of work towards the initiative. I think it's fair to say everyone feels really strongly about the situation, and they feel really close to home about it. So, it's great to hear that you're getting like a lot of support for that. And out of interest, because obviously, as you're probably aware, we are in the crypto space. Our channel is about a crypto project called ethereansos. So we're dealing with crypto on a daily basis. What proportion of the funding is in crypto versus fiat currency?
Well, let me check. Of course, we tried again. Of course, everybody can accept crypto now. You can put out your own crypto wallet and get the get money flowing into yourself. But of course, we are an official organization, so we try to find a formal way to do it, and there are ways to do it. So the platform which we used, and I hope they're not your competitors or anything, but I think they're not. It's called endowment.org. So we set up it like so put it out right away, and so they allow charitable organizations to accept donations in crypto this way. And I'm trying to see how much we received through them since. So basically through crypto we received 10% of our donations through this organization. And thank you for your donations as well. You helped us a lot as well. So I think I don't remember. Did you use endowment for that, or you just? You must have, because we don't have any other crypto wallets.
We did transaction in crypto. Yes, it was Ethereum.
Yeah, and that actually shows a lot. So we actually had a person who individually donated 40 Ethereum to us.
Wow.
So it's $100,000. So
Yeah.
one person, I wouldn't name him because they were, he wouldn't probably know. He didn't give us permission to do that. But I'm just saying that we have one person who donated $100,000 in Ethereum. We also had a few donors who donated 40,000 and 30,000 also in Ethereum. So I would say Ethereum is the leader in crypto donations. I know why, but I guess that's because it's more easier to send and receive. So we're glad that the crypto community exists.
Yeah, no, it's just really interesting. Well, just out of curiosity, just to get a perception of the level of adoption and how many people from the crypto space are getting involved with charity work like this. And it's great to hear that there is a substantial amount of your funding that comes from that resource.
Yes, yeah, 10%.
Yeah,
I think it's more than 10% actually. Yeah, it's more than 10%.
Okay. And finally, hoping that the Ukraine war will soon finish. What other projects do you have beyond that? Do you already have some initiatives in place to continue supporting the rebuild and the community out there and so on? Or are you thinking already of maybe moving on to the next kind of need area?
Right. Yeah, we haven't thought, at this point, we haven't really thought about this future, really thought, but the ideas, of course, are there. That's probably what we did during 2018-19. So those would be like rehabilitation services for soldiers and veterans and people who were wounded or lost their, health and, their, so that's one thing which we would probably focus on. Also supplying, rebuilding, many hospitals have been destroyed. So rebuilding, that will be also one of the, big focuses of our activities in the future. So at this point, we do want, we just look, we want this war to end as soon as possible, with our victory though, because, it wouldn't end, if we lose, it wouldn't end. It would just, grow bigger and bigger. But definitely, already Ukraine, economy is destroyed by 30 or something percent. I think Ukrainian infrastructure is destroyed by 30% or so. So yes, there'll be a lot of work to rebuild, and hopefully with everybody's help and with our efforts, we'll be able to contribute to that. But we think we'll be focusing on medical support, rehabilitation, humanitarian efforts in the future.
Because actually, I didn't ask you earlier about are your roots Ukrainian?
Yeah. Yes, I'm Ukrainian.
Ukrainian yourself,
and my family, almost my whole family is in Ukraine. So my mom is in Ukraine. My cousins, brother, and so on. So that's that's feels very close to me, and I go to Ukraine every year. So I'm still Ukrainian, and I feel it very much. So so that's very close to my to my heart, and it's very hard in this last 2 months. It was first it was a shock, then it was a determination to do something, and since we already have a tools to do that, so we've immediately started. Actually, we have started activities a few days before, because everybody was talking about that the war is coming, and we started doing it a couple of maybe a week or so before, and we realized that we'll probably need this in the near future. Unfortunately, we were right. So yes, so
we send our prayers and best wishes. Of course, we really hope it's gonna be over soon, and we hope, of course, on a personal level, that your family and friends are okay as much as possible out there, if they're still there. And yeah, I mean, we hoping to be able to work with you guys even on an ongoing basis. I mean, we do hope the war is going to end soon, but at the same time, you know, we are going to be carrying out our work, and as part of that, I mean, we want to be doing some more in the hopefully not too far near future, you know.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you, Rudy, to you and your organization, yeah, for helping and for actually publicizing this situation. And yeah, I mean that's what we rely on, is on the word of mouth, the people support, and it just I mean, it's so amazing to see so much support from people all over the world. It just unfortunately it's in a bad situation. But I mean, that's why I'm pretty sure that we will win and we'll rebuild, and the world will be a better place.
Sure.
So yeah, thank you very much. And
we
yeah, so I wish good luck to your project, because I mean I am in crypto a little bit myself, but yeah, I wish you good luck. It's a new way of doing things, and people like you make it possible that now we get more than 10% of donations via crypto.
Yes, no, and we are very happy to be part of to have been able to help. We wish you the best of luck. We hope there'll be an opportunity to talk again in the future, to know how you're getting on. And for everyone who's watching, I'm going to put the link of Leleka Foundation on the video description, so that you can also go and find out more on how you can support this incredible charity. All right. So Ivan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Keep us posted how you get on. Best of luck, and yeah, let's keep it strong.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Ukraine.
Yes. See you soon, guys. Thank you.